Senator, there are a lot of people out there who feel that the National Assembly is not doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, if you are indeed doing an oversight on the government, executive, and for one thing, you've said, okay, we looked at this, it's not working. We suggest you do this or do that.
Yes.
And government agrees, and they go ahead and they don't do that. And they come back and for another matter altogether, you still go ahead and do the same thing. How is that going to ever get us out of these murky waters if the Senate or the National Assembly cannot hold?
Let me get your question. Your question is, assuming we give them this to do and they don't do it, when they come, we should punish them, or we should say, no, we're not dealing with you until you deal with this.
How would you get the executive to execute the things that will benefit the citizenry if they keep going back and forth?
Let's put it this way. Our job is not to execute government policy. Our job is oversight. And we are limited in our oversight that when we see this is how it's supposed to be and we point it out, usually we point it out by way of resolutions, we point it out by the way of reports and the submission of reports and all that. It all goes back, according to the constitution of this country, to the president. And so at the end of the day, the responsibility of executing those suggestions and resolutions and all the things that we bring out is also at the head of the government in Nigeria.
So if the legislature can't hold the government accountable,
the legislature can hold the government accountable, but you see, the point is this. At every point, if you notice that the legislature tries to hold the government accountable, government comes up with another story to say, you're looking for something else, you're trying to destabilize our government and all that. I mean, take the simple case of the Secretary to Government. We said, listen, he has broken the law in these areas, and it was specific, and it was clear, and it was open. And what the government said, it turned around, and then the story now changes. Oh, National Assembly wants to do that. The National Assembly has the powers, actually. But then we also are very mindful of the implications that will come out of the exercise of those powers. If, for example, let's just take a case of the SGF, and we had said, okay, we will not deal with government except he goes. So, no budget, nothing, no business. What do you think will happen? It is the rest of Nigeria that will suffer. So we also use moral suasion and continue to impress on government that when the legislature says this in our considered opinion is where you should go, we expect that you wouldn't want to throw it back on our face and tell us to do our worst because of the implications for everybody in the country.
So now that he's come there to discuss his budget or defend his budget, the SGF now, does that mean that all is well?
No. Well, all that has happened is simple, that the president wrote us, and it was just on the day we were going on the vacation, and we looked at the not on vacation, we were breaking up to go and not sit in plenary so that we can deal with the budget matter. Eventually we will have to, because part of what the president said in the letter was that that report was an interim report. And so we now asked the committee, bring the full report. And so when the full report comes, we will now debate that full report and come out with further resolutions on the matter, and also now say, this is where it ends. And so in the meantime, we cannot now take action to say, no, you can't do this, because we are waiting for a report.
Okay.
So
speaking about the budget, we've seen several clips circulating while you were talking about certain items you found, the line items you found in the budget, specifically that of the State House. Could you tell us about that?
No, what I did was to use that as an example. What happened really is this. When we come to speak about the budget, we normally are given time. The time is 5 minutes. And so if I take the whole budget of 640 pages, there's absolutely no way I can run through that. So usually what you do is to take a snapshot, and then within that snapshot, you now say, let us look at this. And all that I was pointing out was that the more things change, the more they remain the same. The government came and said, we're a change government, we're going to do things differently, we're going to, and I now asked them, fine. Last year, I looked at the same budget, and I made criticisms. And they know what happened from that last budget. At the first time, I said that this budget should be sent back to sender. Last year, in 2016, eventually there was so much about over the budget, and actually told the whole world that there was nothing in that budget. And so we thought that there would be a change this time. And then this time we looked at it again, and I came to the conclusion that nothing has changed. This is not the first time I'm criticizing a budget. I criticized the budget process during the time of President Jonathan. And I remember that I said it also, that there were so many things that come into the budget that should not be there. But every year they are repeated. Every year they are repeated.
And
you want to ask yourself, if you say that this is a zero budget system, in which case you're building the budget from bottom up, should you now, for what you have purchased last year, turn around this year to also put the same thing with a marginal increase? And if you look at it, you will now see that it looks like they just said, take last year's budget plus 10, 15, or 20%. And I just said that's not